which is useful. And yeah, if we're searching through it here, we definitely see we get some job titles sometimes, right? We get, okay, it says CEO here, but we get email addresses of potentially interesting people. And what this allows us to do too is enumeration. If we know for a situation here, it's not always true, but say we have a login interface, and a lot of times something like Outlook, right? Say we know just the common pattern. We don't have 344 names, but we go to Outlook and we try to enumerate usernames through that, because Outlook Web Access has a feature where it's a timing delay. If the username is valid, it will come back pretty quick. If the username is not valid, then it won't come back right away, and there's that timing delay that allows us to be able to enumerate users. We could take common first initials, common last names, put those into a list, and heave some of that at this search if we wanted to, as an example. Now, if they have limiting going on, which a lot of places don't, that will prevent us, and if it depends how patient we are. If we're doing this on an assessment, probably not. If we're hacking and trying to be patient, maybe. These are just things to look for, look through. And with the time tonight, I see a lot of you guys are making suggestions in the chat. Definitely awesome. You guys can do that. I'm not going to touch on those as much, only because we got a lot to go through in a little bit of time. But definitely submit information as you see it, and hopefully we can find some good stuff. So for me, what I would start doing is gathering these names. But somebody did mention that looking through cred dumps, and I was thinking about when I wanted to do that, when I wanted to show that off, but that is really the first thing that I do. So basically, if you think about all the breaches and like the Have I Been Pwned collection, right? There is something out there, and the list may be updated. And if you guys got an updated list, please send it my way, because I would love to improve what I've got. But there's a 1.4 billion clear text password list. Let's just see if we can Google it. If you guys are interested, I have the link. I just want to see if we can Google it. 1.4 billion clear text. I think it's a GitHub. Yeah, this TensorFlow right here, this GitHub. There is a magnet link in here. It's got plenty of people, probably the NSA, watching it. But a lot of people sharing it. You just copy this magnet, paste it, have your torrent, and download it. It's 44 gigs, right? But what it does is it has 1.4 billion clear text passwords. So not hashes, clear text passwords. So if you build a tool to parse through these passwords, you may be able to find some useful information. So let's look at something here. I'm going to go to my files and show you kind of what this looks like. If we go to other locations, and I like to put things into my opt folder. So we go to opt, and we go to, so I built this tool. It's called breach parse. Very basic bash script. It's all hard coded, nothing special. So when you download this, you get this breach compilation, right? This folder here, and it gives you this data folder here, and it has all these subfolders that you have. You click into here, you click on one of these documents, open it up, and you've got usernames and passwords all throughout. So what you don't want to do is use this for bad, right? There's definitely a lot of credentials in here. I'm sure if you went to and pulled out something like all the yahoo.com, you may be able to put that into Burp Suite, put that through Intruder, and get access to yahoo.com. Something like that, right? Don't do that. Bad. We're going to use this for good. So let's take a look at the script I wrote. Don't judge my script writing, please. Okay, this is a very basic script here, and I just... There we go. All right. So everything everything that we've been doing leading up to this has built up to this, right? We did 3 weeks basically of scripting and programming and everything else in here. So this is a bin bash up the top, declared. You see it has an if statement. All I'm looking for is if there's 2 arguments. If there are not 2 arguments, then we're going to echo out the information, how to use it, and more usage down here. So basically the usage is breach parse, the domain we want to search, and the file to output. If you want to create it in Python, more than welcome. I will paste this script into the Discord server, and you guys are more than welcome to use it, modify it, improve it, please. Improvements are great. So basically, we come into here, and you see if we want to do a multiple domain, we can search like @Gmail, pipe, @Yahoo, and then just put it multiple.txt. And then we do an else here, which you probably could have put into a function, but I'm a terrible programmer. Basically, we are creating some variables. I create a variable full file here and set it to the second argument, which is this. Basically, what I'm trying to do is parse out if they put something other than .text. We're going to make it .text ourselves. So we take a base name of the file, we cut out the period, and then I put it into 3 files. So there is a master file, there's a users file, and there's a password file. If you looked at when we were in that text document, it was username : password. So just to make it friendly, I've split it out into 3 files, but also kept the username : password in a master. Then what we do is we touch a master file here, and we set a total file count here by counting it, and we have a file count currently of 0. The only reason we do that is because I put in a progress bar. That way it can count how many files we have counted and then what total file number we have to count a percentage out and know where the heck we are at. Because when I first built this, it was running for 10 minutes and I had no idea how close it was to finishing. So this is a function bar that I stole somewhere and just updated for my own personal needs. And then what we do is we basically find every single file that's in every single folder, and we read through those, right? So what we do is a little loop here. We grep through those, and we write whatever we find, that $1, this is our first argument. So if I say @tesla.com, it's going to search @tesla.com in the file, and then it's going to print it out to this master file. Okay, then it's going to increase the file count by 1. This is for our progress bar, and then we're done. We end our if statement here, and then we take a little nap for 3 seconds, and then we do awk. All we're doing is this is print $1. We're grabbing the users here, and then we're grabbing the passwords, and then we exit out, and we are done. So we're going to go ahead and let this run, take a look at what this looks like. And I've created an alias for it. So it's just breach parse. And then we're going to say @tesla.com. And then we'll just save this to tesla.text, but it's going to strip the .text off anyway and make it its own thing. We'll let that run. And what you'll see is we're not going to get back, I've already done this search, we're not going to get back a ton of results, but we will get some results. Most of them are kind of, they look iffy. It's more promising on other assessments. Tesla's pretty locked down. But when you look at a client, like the debrief I had today, they had 900 and something users on this list. This is one of the easiest ways to get in when we're doing OSINT, right? So we talk about Outlook and we talk about the issues that we have. So say we take this list and all we do is we pass it into Outlook and we send it with the username and the password that we found. We could not at all have the correct usernames and passwords, right? But what we can find, perhaps, okay, say we do have the username and password, easy in, we just got access to the email at least. If we don't have the correct username and password, if Outlook is doing some sort of username enumeration, Then what do we have? Well, we know what usernames are good, what usernames are bad. We can remove the bad usernames, keep the good usernames, and then we start throwing passwords at it, which is called password spraying. That's like winter 2018 exclamation point or spring 2019 exclamation point. Password 1 or the company name like Tesla 123. So basically, you're looking for some sort of password that might get you in, right? So if they're not doing any rate limiting, that's an issue. Another thing that we can look at when we're in these documents, I like to look through it and I like to see, because this isn't just grabbing a single user, it may grab the user 5 times if the user's been breached 5 times. And what we see sometimes in there is we see patterns. Their password may have been Jason123, then it may be Jason234, Jason345. Okay, I know their pattern is probably their name or the name Jason with 3 numbers on the end of it and in some sort of incremental order. That has gotten me in before as well. So these are the things that you need to think about when we're doing OSINT in terms of password gathering off breach list. We're going to talk about this way more heavily. I'm just giving you the concepts and what things to think about. But these are the things that we'll cover later on in the course when we get into that situation where we've tried everything else. There's no visual exploits. Everything looks patched, but we can still get our way in. Especially if social engineering is off, out of scope. A lot of times you'll have an external, but social engineering will be out of scope. So if it's out of scope, then you're limited to what you can do and what you see. And sometimes you don't get a lot on an external scan. So let's go ahead and just take a look at what we've found. So if we ls here, you'll see that we've got the Tesla users, Tesla master, and Tesla passwords. Let's just go ahead and look at the master. We'll just cat that out. That's what's happening for your current engagement. They want red team, but not allowed to social engineer. Yeah, then it's not really red team, is it? Red team and pen testing are 2 different beasts. Okay, so we don't have a lot here. We really don't. And what did we see before? We saw user or first initial last name, right? And when I'm looking through these, I'm not seeing any first initial last name. You have first names a bunch of times: Kirk, Letitia, Isabella, this Tesla 9, this Shark here. So this could be maybe an S Hark. It looks like maybe at some point, if these are true, it looks like at some point they had a first name option, or they had a first name dot last name option. But I'm not seeing a lot of first initial last names. So we're getting some sort of mixed results when we look at the hunter.io and we compare it to this, right? So who knows? But our next step here would be to take these credentials and try to push them through a login if we could. And you want to look for patterns, right? Like you see the Shark at Tesla. Look at the 907 DADE 814. You see capitalize some things in there. It would not be very difficult to set a rule set and alternate some of these letters with 814, 907, and then alternating DADE somehow with capitalization. They're probably honeypot creds placed by Tesla. That would be some next level stuff. Could be matured email addresses. Started with first, last, had to grow. Also possible. Decoy creds are possible. So these are the things we look for, though. This is my first go-to when it comes to OSINT. So you guys were mentioning it. I figured I'll show you first. I was going to show you more towards the end, but okay. So we've gathered some information on what usernames might look like. If we were to start attacking, we would use these credentials against them on login forms. But we're not attacking. We are just getting information, right? We're doing reconnaissance. So what else can we do? Well, I like to just go out to the website. That's one of my fun things to do.